and the swell of support that carried him through the battlegrounds.
The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer.
Tonight, his phone call with President Obama, his first trip to the White House coming next, and Hillary Clinton, ahead in the popular vote, but still unable to break that glass ceiling. Among her first words today to her supporters, "I'm sorry we did not win."
This is painful, and it will be for a long time.
Tonight, Clinton's message to the country about President-elect Donald Trump. And we ask who could be in Trump's cabinet. New reaction from world leaders Vladimir Putin and Melania Trump. When will she meet with First Lady Michelle Obama? And tonight, a divided America. The triumph for Trump supporters and the heartbreak for those who wanted history. How and when does the healing begin?
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening on this Wednesday night, and it's great to have you with us. And America tonight has a new president-elect, Donald Trump. He will be the 45th president of the United States after a campaign unlike anything we've ever seen. And then an election night no one could have predicted. Donald Trump has never held office before, never served in the military. He did this his own way, and he won, claiming victory after 2:30 in the morning, promising to be a president for all Americans. Donald Trump sweeping many of the key battleground states and winning the Electoral College, surpassing 270 electoral votes. But Hillary Clinton ahead in the popular vote in this country. But of course, that's not how the system works. She was hoping to make history as the first woman president. Tonight, an emotional concession and supportive words for the president-elect. And we have just learned that President-elect Donald Trump will meet with President Obama at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning in the Oval Office. We begin tonight with ABC's Tom Yamas.
The historic upset, so breathtaking, even the Trumps seem surprised, watching in Trump Tower as the election returns rolled in. Staffers cheering as they closed in on victory. And then it was over. Just before 3 a.m., President-elect Donald Trump helping his 10-year-old son Barron with his tie before leading his large family into a hotel ballroom. Down that staircase and onto the stage, greeted by throngs of elated supporters.
I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard.
Gone were the bruising attacks of the campaign. The president-elect gracious to his former opponent.
Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely.
After a campaign filled with divisive rhetoric against women and minorities, Trump now saying he'll be a president for everyone.
To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there were a few people, I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help.
But Trump also vowing to deliver for his diehard supporters, the working class he courted.
The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer.
Minutes after leaving the stage, Trump taking a phone call from President Obama, the president inviting his successor to the White House.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And today in the Rose Garden, addressing the nation.
It is no secret that the president-elect and I have some pretty significant differences. We are now all rooting for his success in uniting and leading the country. The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. And over the next few months, we are going to show that to the world.
Also today, words of support and congratulations from both former Presidents Bush, neither of whom voted for Trump. George H.W. Bush wishing Trump well, quote, as he guides America forward. His son, George W. Bush, adding, We pray for the success of our country and the success of our new president.
And Tom Llamas, who has covered every step of this Trump campaign, with us live from Trump Tower tonight. And Tom, that meeting between Donald Trump and President Obama happens tomorrow morning?
That's right, and it's going to be an incredible moment because over the last few months, both these men have been hypercritical of each other. But you heard the president there. In the tradition of the peaceful transfer of power, they will meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the White House. Today, Team Trump has been so busy working into the night here at Trump Tower. We know Governor Chris Christie and Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama have been leading that transition team. David?
Tom Llamas leading us off tonight. Tom, thanks as always. And this evening, Hillary Clinton and her concession speech. At times clearly moved, acknowledging the pain, but then offering encouraging words for the president-elect and her hope that the country will now come together. After trying to become the first woman president, she also reached out to mothers and their little girls. Here's ABC's Cecilia Vega.
They filled the room, packing the balconies, longtime Hillary Clinton aides and young women, many wiping away tears.
Please join me in welcoming Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton addressing the disappointment head on.
This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country.
The loss, tough to bear.
This is painful, and it will be for a long time. But I want you to remember this. Our campaign was never about one person or even one election. It was about the country we love and about building an America that's hopeful, inclusive, and big-hearted.
Clinton now urging her followers to support the president-elect.
We have seen that our nation is more deeply divided than we thought. Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
And then a direct appeal to women who voted for her by a 12-point margin.
I want you to know that nothing has made me prouder than to be your champion. I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
Finally, a message to girls. So many joining their mothers in the voting booth.
To all the little girls who are watching this, never doubt that you are valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and opportunity in the world to pursue and achieve your own dreams.
And for women in that room today,
No matter where we're headed,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Hillary Clinton still an inspiration.
please never stop believing that fighting for what's right is worth it. It is. It is worth it.
And Cecilia Vega is with us tonight. And Cecilia, we are learning this evening that not only did former President George W. Bush reach out to President-elect Donald Trump, he also called Hillary Clinton after her concession speech.
He did, David, right after that speech, and he thanked her for her years of public service. The big question tonight, what happens to Hillary Clinton next? Her aides are not giving us any clues as to what her plans are. She may not even know that for tonight, David. All we do know is she is at home in Chappaqua.
Cecilia Vega with us tonight. Cecilia, thank you. So let's get to some of the reasons why the map looks like this tonight. ABC's Jonathan Karl back with us. And John, you were saying that Donald Trump would have to sweep the battlegrounds, particularly in the Rust Belt, which is essentially what he did last night. So what drove this?
Well, first of all, it wasn't the attributes of the candidate. When asked who was most qualified, voters actually said that Hillary Clinton was more qualified than Donald Trump by a big margin. 52% Hillary Clinton, just 38% Donald Trump. In fact, more voters thought that she was honest and trustworthy than him. But what mattered most to voters is who would bring needed change. 39% said that was the most important thing for them. And of those voters, 83% voted for Donald Trump, just 14% for Hillary Clinton. And then there's demographics. Look, this was a big turnout for the rural vote. Rural voters, for instance, in Pennsylvania, 71% for Donald Trump. And then the biggest group is simply white men. Look at the margin among white men. 63% for Trump, just 31% for Hillary Clinton.
You've heard the questions, too. So many people asking about all the polls essentially being off heading into Election Day. You've got Trump supporters saying, were we doing better than we thought going in? Hillary Clinton supporters saying, why is she not president-elect today? It looked like she was going to win this thing.
Two big factors. First of all, underestimating how much Trump would dominate among those rural white voters. The second thing is overestimating how much of the old Obama coalition would turn out. Non-whites, Hispanics, African Americans simply didn't turn out in the numbers they turned out for Barack Obama.
All right, John Carl with us again tonight. John, thank you. And of course, that visit to the White House tomorrow, and with just 72 days until the inauguration now, there is already speculation tonight about who will be in the cabinet, who will be in Donald Trump's White House. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
With Donald Trump headed to the White House and the GOP in solid control of Capitol Hill, top Republicans today took a victory lap.
This is the most incredible political feat I have seen in my lifetime.
His cabinet in waiting may include familiar names like top surrogates Rudy Giuliani for Attorney General or Newt Gingrich for Secretary of State. Trump has outlined a jam-packed first 100 days. The top order of business, repeal and replace Obamacare, but what that will look like is unclear. 20 million Americans have gained coverage under President Obama's signature law.
Believe me, we'll get rid of that. I've been saying it for years.
Trump has also promised middle-class families a big tax cut, 35%, but it's unknown how he'll pay for it.
And that's what they can use, and that money will go back into the economy.
On border security, Trump has vowed to suspend immigration from regions linked to terrorism and impose what he calls extreme vetting.
Radical Islamic terror is right around the corner. We have to be so tough, so smart, so vigilant.
Trump is also eager to fill that seat on the Supreme Court, vacant since February, with a conservative justice, and could get other chances to appoint more justices.
Now, just because they're from the same party, that does not mean that Republicans in Congress and the president-elect always see eye to eye. On many issues like Obamacare, they agree. But on Trump's other priorities like immigration and trade, those are going to face an uphill battle on Capitol Hill. David.
And you'll be covering it right there on Capitol Hill for us, Mary. Thank you. Donald Trump's election also sending shockwaves around the globe. As we were still on the air in the wee hours of the morning, they were waking up to the news overseas. World leaders tonight sending messages, and Vladimir Putin, one of the first to weigh in. Here's ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran.
Today in Moscow, Vladimir Putin hailing the results and looking forward to a cozier relationship with a Trump presidency. I want to congratulate the American nation, Putin said, and Mr. Donald Trump with this victory. Putin even pointing out he was paying attention when Trump praised him on the campaign trail.
He said Trump is a genius.
I will get along, I think, with Putin.
I said he was a strong leader, which he is.
Very different reactions to President-elect Trump in Mexico. Newspapers expressed horror. This summer, then-candidate Trump faced off with President Nieto over Trump's plan for a border wall. Today, Nieto called Trump and afterward almost pleaded for good relations. We need to build a relationship of trust, he said. And German Chancellor Angela Merkel almost warning Trump that she will cooperate only on the basis of values like respect for the law and the dignity of human beings.
Terry Moran back down in Times Square where we were there just a few hours ago, still covering this election. Terry, Donald Trump has some plans for his first 100 days that are a pretty dramatic departure from the current administration.
He sure does, David, although he's a wild card on the world stage and world leaders will be watching him. But in his first 100 days, he has promised he wants to build a wall, a great big wall, and make Mexico pay for it. And he will halt, he says, the resettlement of any Syrian refugees. He's going to be very busy. David?
Terry Moran with us tonight. Great having you stateside for the election, Terry. Hillary Clinton, meantime, ran for president under the threat of investigation. The FBI clearing her on those newly discovered emails just days before the election. And tonight, it is President-elect Donald Trump who it appears will face dozens of lawsuits and that IRS audit. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross.
Can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give?
Investigators and lawyers tonight say that Donald Trump could find himself under oath in dozens of lawsuits, even after he takes the oath of office to become president.
Would you state your full name for the record, please?
Donald John Trump.
Among the most serious lawsuits, allegations of fraud involving Trump University, with a trial set to begin later this month. Students who paid a $35,000 fee claim they were falsely told by Trump he had personally selected the faculty.
These are all people that are hand-picked by me.
Trump's business interest may also create conflicts for the soon-to-be president. In the midst of the campaign, he took time off to promote his brand with a trip to his golf course in Scotland, and later opening a new hotel in Washington. He and his children have sought investments with controversial overseas figures. And ethics experts say his plan to let his children run his empire as though it were a blind trust is not blind at all. And then there are his taxes under audit. Trump was the first candidate in 40 years to not make them public. And now as president, he will select the next head of the IRS, even as IRS auditors are poring over his returns and how he managed to avoid paying any federal income tax at all.